cold. The first thing I felt was the cold. It seeped through the rough wool blanket. The blanket was thin and old. I shivered a little, pulling it tighter. The ground beneath me was hard. Stone and packed earth formed my bed. This was my small, simple shelter. This was my world, waking slowly, my eyes opened slowly, adjusting. The air inside the small hut was dim. A single ray of weak light cut through. It came from a narrow crack in the mud wall. Dust motes danced in that single beam. They looked like tiny golden specks. The roof above was low, woven with sticks. Sticks and dried mud kept out the worst wind. I pushed the heavy animal skin door aside. The light outside was sudden, almost painful. It blinded me for just a moment. Then I saw them. The mountains, they were so big, so very immense, they stood like ancient sleeping giants. Their jagged peaks touched the pale morning sky. The valley stretched out far below, still shadowed. I took a deep breath of the morning air. The air was sharp against my face. It was clean, pure, and very cold. It smelled of distant pine trees, and the damp earth after the night's dew, and the faint, familiar scent of my sheep. Far away, a single dog barked once. The world was quiet, waiting for the sun. My throat felt dry, like old parchment. Water was the first, most urgent need. I reached for the familiar clay jug. It always sat in the cool corner of the hut. The water inside was cold, so cold, it made my teeth ache for a second. I drank slowly, feeling it cool my throat. Each sip was precious, a true gift. Food was the next thought, the next ritual. There was never much to eat, a piece of hard, dry naan bread. It was left over from the night before. Sometimes, if lucky, a few dried mulberries. Their sweetness was a rare, small treat. I chewed slowly, making the bread last, just enough to stop the sharp hunger pangs. I checked my few essential belongings. My sturdy wooden staff, always near. It was worn smooth by my father's hand, then mine. My sling, made of strong leather strips for guiding the sheep along the path or for scaring away a hungry wolf. A small, sharp knife rested at my belt. These simple tools kept me and the flock alive. I stepped outside the hut once more. The sky in the east was a little brighter now. A pale orange painted the horizon. I made a soft, low sound in my throat. A call the sheep knew, their signal. They began to stir in their rough enclosure. Grumbles and soft bleats filled the air. They were waking up, ready for another day. The sheep moved out from their rough stone pen. They became a flowing river of wool. Their hooves made a soft sound on the earth. I walked ahead of them, or sometimes beside. My wooden staff tapped the ground gently, guiding them, keeping them from straying. We moved slowly, with unhurried steps. There was no rush, only the ancient rhythm. My eyes constantly searched the rocky hillsides. I was always watching, always alert, for any small sign of hidden danger. A slinking wolf, hungry and cunning, a snow leopard in the harsh winter months, even men with bad intentions seeking to steal. The flock was vulnerable out in the open. My watchfulness was their only true shield. I knew my sheep, each one of them. Each had its own way, its own look. The old ewe who walked with a slight limp, the bold young ram always pushing forward, the playful lambs skipping and bleating. They knew my voice, its different tones, my sharp whistle, my quiet clicks, my gestures. We had a language, unspoken but understood. Sometimes the silence of the mountains felt too big. It pressed in from all sides, vast and empty. So I would talk to the sheep sometimes, quiet words of comfort or encouragement. Or I would sing old familiar songs, songs my father sang and his father before. My voice echoed a little in the clear air. The mountains listened. The wind carried the tunes. The sun climbed higher in the wide sky. It beat down hard on the barren land. The rocks grew hot beneath my worn sandals. There was very little shade to find. In winter, the biting cold bit deep. Snow would cover everything in white silence. Wind would howl like a hungry, angry wolf. The weather was a powerful, unforgiving master. Life here was a constant, daily struggle, a struggle for good pasture for the sheep, a struggle to find clean water sources. Food was never abundant, never plentiful, always just enough if we were fortunate, or sometimes not quite enough for all. Sometimes a sheep was lost to sickness or to a predator in the dark night, but even in hardship there were joys. Small things, often overlooked by others. The birth of a healthy new lamb, watching the young ones play full of life. The taste of fresh, warm milk, finding a hidden patch of green grass, the stars at night, so many stars, they filled the dark sky like scattered diamonds. This was much more than just a job. It was who I was, deep in my bones, who my people were for many generations. We walked these same ancient mountains, we cared for these same kinds of animals, we knew all the secrets of this land, its many dangers and its hidden gifts. It was a hard life, a very simple life, but it was our life, our enduring story.